Hi there, and welcome to my Soul Authority channel. I'm Lorraine Van Tool, transformational life coach, holistic psychologist, and meditation guide. I'm staking out the safe spiritual space in solidarity so we can hear our authentic voice over all the noise and realign ourselves with clear choice. This is at the heart of Soul Authority. If you felt burned out and low, join us in rekindling our inner fires and getting back in the flow. Alrighty, so we're gonna go back into the sanctuary. So, as I explained last time, going into the sanctuary, even though I can do that very quickly now because I've done it so many times, I do know when I'm not quite in it. Better way to think of it is I do know when my heart compass is not to be trusted. When, and I call this, and I'm not the one who coined these terms, but when my trauma body or some charged emotion, you might call it a trigger, is in charge, right? Is pulling my true north needle, pulling my wisdom, pulling my attention in such a way that it's not to be trusted. And it's not, again, as I explained earlier to my client who is sort of ego love muscling muscling her way to like fight fear with love. It's not that. That is sort of how we're baited. So when you see all that, when you're doing that, your trauma body's in charge, you're reactive, or another way it's called, it's your falsely empowered self is trying to defend or assert yourself, or dirty pain pattern versus clean pain. Dirty pain is sort of feelings about feelings and pride and all the things getting in the way to protect you from being vulnerable, while clean pain is painful, uncomfortable, but it's breaking down the pain. So anyway, when all the misaligned actions are happening, what I do is just like, it's just surrender, hands up, because I trust that I'm going to be my tree guide has my back, that nature has my back, instead of like, what's happening? I don't like myself, and I do this is going to cause, all the things that your ego mind does or tends to do, or I tended to do before. I don't do any of this, and this is because of this practice. So this is the intention. This is what we're trying to get to, that we can drop, sort of get out of our own way, or let go, let God. These are all phrases that mean the same thing. We get out of our own way, and our heart is just open and connected to the six directions above and below, and the four directions. And even if you're in stillness or making a smaller move, doing less, it's aligned action. So this is the trick where interference and fear, experiencing interference and experiencing fear are two, in my book, different things. Even if fear is so intense, it does not have to be interference. And fear can be naturally, like, let's say your earthquake or flood or tsunami coming at you, you can feel fear, and not feel interference and maybe surrender to that. But it's harder not to feel interference when it's human and it's intentional and it's meant to manipulate you, to create interference. So you unground it, and chronically so that you feel powerless and you can't do anything, you can't think clearly, and you're just, running amok or doing all this blind action. So right now, it definitely seems like that is, happening chronically, daily, and maybe gonna even get worse. So this is what we want to do instead. We want to stay connected to ourselves, feel this interference coming at us. Oh, I knew I was something I wanted to say. Anxiety and fear. Okay. So how we get baited. The right response to that is anger is setting the limit. And we get kind of confused how to also have that without that ego muscle behind it. I see it more as fever. When we're having a fever and that angry response, it's not like, at least I'm not, my ego muscling through and fighting the pathogens coming at us. It's a bit of a surrendering and letting a body, sort of do its thing and sick it out, so to speak. And the intention is to actually be freed from the heat and freed from the anger and subside. So there's no, I think, balancing and circulating without healthy anger. So when I had my workout today, it was definitely throwing things and punching things and having in my mind the things I was angry at, pissed off about, even situational, even if it's bigger than one person and whatnot. So make sure you play and accept that energy as well and get out of your own way. So I guess we're gonna go in now in the meditation, but I guess that's what I wanted to make sure I mentioned. So inside of the sanctuary, we want everything to stay clear, stay aligned. And what that is gonna do is gonna allow you to backlight and be able to see what's happening all around you, how emotions and all kinds of chaos and misalignments could manipulate you, could unground you, could disempower you, and how to stay aligned within your own body, your own mind. Nobody can get in there as much as they try, they really can. And then from that place, decide how you're going to respond to what you're experiencing, how you're going to sequence it, what makes most sense in your life, what you're going to focus on, etc., etc. Okay, so we're going into the heart center. Again, you can tap your heart if you like, just to feel what that feels like. Quickly, in the first meditation, retreating together, I did this more elaborately, how to even out your energy field. But we're gonna do this a little quicker today. Spread it all out. Make sure there are no holes anywhere. Front, back, left, right, top, bottom. You want it as balanced as possible. You go right into your heart center, in between the top three chakras and the lower three chakras, and you step into that heart center and you want to open up your five senses right away and experience your inner sanctuary that is a sacred garden. And we're intending to go to the same sanctuary in the beginning. Later you can do more elaborate things, as I said, but we want to build this habit first so that it's right there, your sanctuary, your tree. And like playing tag, whenever you feel pulled and not 51% in this place but manipulated outside of you, can run in and sit with your tree and recharge and reground and regroup very quickly, right? I want it just to be a safe, like sort of rut in the rug, so to speak. Okay, so next thing we're doing, as you're noting and greeting all the elements, air, fire, earth, water, we're going to sit with your tree and we're going to rest. So here's where we are really working from the bottom up. On purpose, we're giving our thinking ego mind a rest. And yeah, a lot came through even before starting this. So my ego mind too needs to rest so I can channel too. So we're leaning our heads back. We're feeling our backbone lit up and supported. We're feeling our bottom, our base also supported. And you might even feel that cord coming all the way from the bottom of the earth and all the way from the star ancestors and beyond. And it's kind of like a fire cord. It's like your soul, your spirit, your heat, right? That's how we determine somebody is alive or not. Your heat, your body, your breath. So we're just noting that life, mysterious life energy that keeps our body alive and gives us breath, and through respiration there's heat. And this heat is only like differing 1 to 3 degrees maybe from every human on the planet. Isn't that just incredible? Like who determines that? and a fever, and when you're hypothermic or, like in trouble. So there's this warmth and heat. Same with the planet, that's ideal and optimal, and somehow balance, kept in balance, where we're constantly, just like the little organs and places in the earth too, there's constantly like adjusting. Like even like some places, there was some, I forget where exactly, but there's some darker growth. I'm not sure if it was bacteria or plants, but like light or dark, it was like to modulate to the temperature, right? We're just so incredible, and we're also amazing how much we can mess with that and totally disregard that. But innately, there's this natural balancing, harmonizing mystery living in us and in nature. So that's what um we're not even plugging into. It's always there. We're just appreciating it. We're stopping all that we're doing to appreciate what our body naturally does. And so earth has our back, but nature, ourselves, our bodies, we have our backs. And it's just a matter of opening up more and more our brains, our awareness to this incredible human, like vessel, um, this vessel of mystery that we are. And we have the consciousness, the ability to appreciate it more so than most, but also less so maybe in some ways than most. Okay. So, one big thing, like I said, and that's why this is structured in this way, is our ego minds, our logical ego mind, not understanding polarities, or really not understanding it, but really strongly driven by survival. In the past was physical, maybe fighting the elements, fighting to get food, finding all the things. And now it's just all this man-made modern day life, sort of battling all kinds of minutia and just things. Even if it wasn't what's happening now, like sometimes I would just feel aggravated by all the junk mail coming, all the little demands, all the different little things, just so distracting from this feeling of being alive and doing nothing. Just feels like unnecessary. So um we're already as a default kind of scattered and not fully integrated and disempowered, so we're easily manipulated with. So we're going back and we're going regrouping ourselves underneath all of that, just collecting all our parts, gathering it, and observing more and more what modern day life is, because that gives you more and more choice to like think about it. Do I really need to go do that? Do I really want to go on social media and waste an hour? I mean, if you do it to, it makes you feel happy, little regroup, but maybe you can mix it up and do something else, that does that better. Do some art, do some just tinkering with stuff so you get back in touch with your authentic self. Go for a walk in nature, work out a little bit, make a nice meal, whatever it might be. So yeah, we're just being sitting there with nature and with our tree, resting and observing. So we're getting there more 51%, and we're letting all of this, what I say, like move more to the bark of ourselves. These are things that happen to us since the day we were born, being humans. But it's all like, things happening. All the things happening are not who you are. It's not really your true nature. That tends to start forming a story that is more aligned with fear and with our trauma body and our falsely empowered self. So everybody has that, but we now have a little bit of wiggle room, and we're grounding in our soul authority, authentic self, our true nature. So we're going to deepen our connection to the tree. We're going to align the upper body with the upper part of the tree, the branches, the leaves, reaching upward and outward towards the sun, the star ancestors, and beyond. And feel like a socket, like plugging in and absorbing even more energy coming from above, really opening up our crown. Good. The crown chakra is much more open. Feel all that tingling in the head. And so we're letting in all the light, that wisdom. So what I even do, we're spending all this time setting up, but I can, for example, in like 10 seconds, when I feel off, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just stop, hands up, lean back, sit against the tree, and I breathe like that. I breathe through the crown, I breathe out through the nose. So it's just imagine, of course, but it's the idea of, like being humble, like surrendering. My ego mind doesn't know anything, or even I might know a lot, but it's minuscule compared to all the wisdom, all the mystery out there. So that's what it is. I breathe in wisdom coming from the sun, coming from the above, and then I breathe out thought. And that puts everything in perspective, right? Because we tend to think we're thought, we tend to want to wrap thought around awareness, we tend to make thought and ourselves so, so big, center of the universe, everything. And now it makes it very small. It's just kind of saying, okay, there's all this wisdom. And what do I want to do with it? So my thinking mind is a tool. It's not me, and I can turn it on and turn it off. So even though it seems like we're thinking, you're thinking too, it's slightly different because I'm kind of channeling more than thinking, right? Thinking is a little bit more muscle in it, more of an agenda in it. I'm just sort of relax and just see what drops in from above. So it's kind of like that. We're breathing in wisdom, we're breathing out thought, and it makes you very relaxed because at least, even if it might feel everything's urgent in crisis, and other people are, and you're bombarded by that, it gives you a little proof, like at least for 5 minutes, and you need to grant yourself that all is good right now. And then you have the next 5 minutes and the next 5 minutes, and pretty soon you're going to rewire your body and say, actually, right, 51%, I'm good, I'm at peace. There's no real crisis that's life threatening right now. We'll deal with that and we'll let my body respond appropriately when that is the case. But right now, really not. You're just exposed to lots of that and people's energy that get us into that state. But we're really safe right now and calm. So you breathe in and you let yourself just be still even more and say, okay, after this, then I'm gonna put all my duckies in a row and see what's the next best thing that I need to do. But right now, sounds like the next best thing, or looks like the next best thing, is to enjoy this a little bit more and rest a little bit more. So we absorbed all that guidance from above. We're gonna maybe do the same thing from the below. I should drop into your roots, into the dark soil, and doing the same thing. Here I'm getting from the roots that it's trickier, and this is kind of what happens to us. We don't ground enough and get this pure guidance from earth because there's such a thick layer of uncomposted, undigested human like gunk, that we don't want to deal with it. Similar to in our bodies, we don't want to be in our bodies because it feels uncomfortable. It feels like then I'm going to be confronted with all this. Ugh. So the tree and the sanctuary are to help us with that, not polarize it. Understand it, embrace it, be sort of that oceanic sort of space and say, it's all good. I can handle it. I'm going to digest it. I need to. I need to be still. And I need to also limit it, right? Like, you're not bypassing if you give up what is not all yours to digest. Like a lot is ancestral, a lot is collective. Recently, I've gotten a lot of worm guides to help me with the composting, and I used to be terrified and grossed out by worms, so it's very ironic. me confronting that fear. So now they're my buddies and my friends. So when I feel all this, I'm just like, throw the worms at them, right? Let the worms, they're amazing. And the fungi and all of that underground, that's what they do. They eat it up, they compost it. And all of you doing that, it's amazing. It's really important work because you're sensitive and you're tuned to the collective, and you can also do the collective composting that way. But we want to get it out of the body. So if you feel it now uncomfortable in your body, it's fine to have your worms or your guides sort of do that and understand it's not you. It's such an icky thing in your body that you feel, but it's not all that you feel in your body is not all yours. So for sure, don't shame yourself. Don't over identify it. Identify this, and we're pushing it out more and more. Pretty soon, we're going to get to fire and set a firewall, but you can also work with fire now. And I did this last time. The connection between the center of the earth and the stars and your chakra channel, you can use fire and light to keep it clear. And as much as this feels in your body, we're going to push it out. So it's on the bark. And 51% of you feels much more comfortable and clear and peaceful. So if it feels in the heart, right in the center, I feel some things like really deep in the core, and it's almost like you're gonna put a syringe or something inside the heart, inside that channel, and push it out. So it still, goes in the heart. I feel it ache in somebody's heart. So you can also soothe it, we can put fire there, whatever, if it's anger or rage or something, that felt very painful. Um, what I want to say, if something very painful is fine and healthy to have rage, if it blocked your life energy, blocked your survival, use that, and we very calmly, again, we're not muscling it or anything, we're like a fever. We're going to go inside, underneath, from the inside and the bottom, we're going to push it out, put it on the bark. And then you can also work with water, diffuse it with air, because we can easily have our ego mind muscle through, right? And sort of make it more intense and constricted and keep it there as a charged sort of magnet that gets into then a dirty pain cycle. So we don't want that. But you just want to acknowledge it and then clear it, diffuse it, use water. Good. That feels much better. Okay, so that's with the tree and all, that's happening. So air, we did a lot of air cognitively, talking about interference. So hopefully now it's easier as we get, to the air element and see our highest truth, the big picture, the long view, spaciousness. Now we're seeing some of the stories we had about ourselves, humanity, all of that sort of loosening up, so to speak, so we can read more between the lines. What else is happening that we didn't even see, that we got fooled into believing? So we're bringing in fresh ideas. We're breathing. Here's one. I want you to use your breath. So we're going to spend actually a little bit of time breathing because I've done a lot of sort of the cognitive interventions. So you're sitting up, you're leaning back now, and we're going to breathe with our tree. So not only coming in, wisdom coming in from the top of, through the crown, from the top of our heads, and breathing our thought. I want you now to even imagine and recognize how you and your tree, you and nature, are in this very interdependent, beautiful, harmonious relationship. You're breathing in what your tree's breathing out. And you're breathing out what the tree needs to breathe in. For photosynthesis, the carbon, breaking that down, creating sugars, creating food, absorbing it, and then breathing out the oxygen that we breathe in. That gives us life. And then we breathe out. And so we're in this beautiful relationship, and we can really honor nature, but we have to start with honoring ourselves as nature, our immediate surroundings, all the parts that are not inside of ourselves that are not aligned with nature. So we can use the breath also to clear. We're doing that, breathing in and out in the surrendering. Now we're going to go to fire and do a little bit more because we're seeing how things were misaligned. So we're aligning them much more. If it's stuff we over identified with, energies that were bleed throughs, or even ways in which we blamed ourselves, we're now using our fire, our rage, our anger, all the responses we had when we did not like that, to burn through that and set a new firewall. And I want this to be so natural, part of your parasympathetic nervous system, that your ego is not involved. Isn't that interesting? If we get out of our way, the best way to have that anger and set those boundaries is when our ego is not even involved. Your immunity is so strong that you walk away from mistreatment. You just know that that does not feel right. Like oil and water, like your firewall on your computer. You want it to be there and not have to monitor every day what virus or thing got through and have to spend 3 hours ruminating if you said the right thing or not, right? Your firewall is there to do the job. And if viruses get in, you're like, I need something stronger or whatever. What's going on here? That's how we want our energetic fire boundaries to be. No more imploding, exploding, feeling collapse and insecure, and what did they say, and are they right, and maybe I'm terrible, oh I'm so mad, lashing out. No, that's all imploding, exploding. Okay, we want to trust ourselves 51% what we're protecting, and the boundary around it is your immunity, is your firewall. Good. There's some aches and things we're working on. So now when you are able to do that, your action is going to help even more, because the action makes all what so far has been just energy, a little bit in our heads only. It's going to ground it, it's fortify it. That's why rituals, meditation time, all these things are important, movement, because you want muscle memory. You want repetition. You want it to, right? Like be easy to go to this place. And that will, your mind and your body are also in this interesting dynamic. So you can do a lot from the bottom up, as I said, and shift your thinking without even necessarily trying to. You massage yourself, or you work on yourself, you move things, and you suddenly like, oh, the thought was bothering me is no longer bothering me because I feel better already. So all these action steps in alignment with your best self, with what you're trying to grow, with what you're trying to heal. And I call them also alchemy action steps, because there's something in that action that gets transformed. In sticking your neck out, in calling whoever you wanted to talk to because you were bothered by something, that date you want to go to, the interview you were avoiding, or whatever the thing. As you're doing it, your fear and all the negative, like imploded sort of parts in you will kind of pop up and draw your attention. And that's the time where you get to practice. And as you walk more and more aligned, there's a new pattern. that gets created, and you've alchemized in time, you alchemize the old pattern. And also what will happen, what the alchemizing means, what I talked about last time, is you're having a healthy earth. You burn things, you compost the things that you no longer need. So your healthy earth's gonna be softer, it's gonna be just right. Not too soft and mushy, and also not too hard. So you are going to have less of the drowning in feelings. When we drown in feelings, there's no irrigation, there's no guidance, there's no clearing, there's no detoxing, there's no purifying. It's just one flooded mess, right? Could be hot mess, it could be soggy mess, or you're drowning. So both of those things, when that happens, you need more big picture air first. That's why things are sequenced in this way. And then you need more fire boundaries, and then things gonna look on the ground level different. Your action is gonna get traction. You're able to root in the new patterns. Your feelings are gonna get irrigated. They're gonna do what they're supposed to, which is detox and hydrate. Detox and hydrate. Just like an earth in your body too. It's crying, all the things. It's detoxing, hydrating new growth. So 51% more in your healthy sanctuary is half the battle. So many things we get lured to want to fix out there, and it just pulls us. It interferes. It drives a wedge between our inner wisdom and what we really need to do. So going slowly, making sure there's no magnets in the way, doing your alchemy action steps, actually having plans, rituals, following through, tracking it, right? Having repetition, having structure, having foundation. All the things we find boring and limiting are actually so, so powerful. I think there's a lot of spirits, for example, out of bodies who didn't get to do this. And as much, as some like who suicided and whatnot thought they were free, I don't think so. They're still hanging around, wanting to get in people's bodies who are not in their bodies by through interference, because in the body we get to compost, we get to alchemize. So as much as, when we're spiritual, we tend to think, oh, it goes so slow and this and that. It's like such a powerful sort of cauldron that we have access to. So this is how we use it. This is similar to a grief cycle. This is similar to a post-traumatic growth cycle. We tend to short circuit with fire, with really drawing the new boundaries. With fever, we tend to set limits but not follow through, and therefore sometimes not set them because we know we're not going to follow through. So it's the following through, the setting limits, to really courage, with that fire. It's not just setting the firewall, but having the courage, being with your tree, knowing your tree is backing you up, and that you're in your true nature, cannot be hurt really. You just have to keep dropping into yourself. So doing that really is important and get you over the hump to do new things, and then emote and clear. So guess what? When you're with water now, your field is much clearer and you can trust your compass again. But this is a spiral, it's never ending, because next is air again. So you will, as I said, or as I call it, every level new devil, as you go higher, your roots go lower, you find more things. That's totally normal. And you just bring it through the whole cycle again, where you're like, oh, I ran into this thing that is pulling me, just like a car with misaligned tires. It's just keep pulling me to the right. What is that? And then you go back and you break it down and everything. But now that we're clear, that feels good, right? So now we're like, what's the first thing? And I say the first thing is probably more self-care for most of us. Self-care, just get more and more solid, get your action, just the basic needs: sleep, eat, um, your patterns, your ritual of the day, of movement and all that. Just do that first, and everything else will sit on that and will be so much stronger. But okay, let's say we've done that. Then the next thing is, what is your unique path, calling, soul purpose? Usually it's something related to the interference getting in your way and you working hard to clear that. And as you work hard to clear it, find your power in your profession and your relationships or whatever you're doing, that usually tends to inspire soul purpose, a place where you're really good at what you're doing because you've done it your whole life. You understand it inside and out. You have compassion for others. So that's what we are to do. We each have our own task. And so the more you fill up, more fulfilled you are, the better you're going to do that. And you're also less likely to carry or take on karma and things that are not yours to carry in the body. So we're going to clear all that from the body as we talked about. Send the wormies to them, set your boundaries. And then also the stuff that is sticking around a little bit more and more stubborn, that is what to focus more of your attention on. And that is what to get stronger with. And it's going to get more potent, more influential. And that is your dharmic path that you're to walk. And that will become so potent and so attractive and so supported by the universe that the doors are going to open and the teachers are going to come and the clients or whoever you're meant to help, they're going to find you, etc., etc. So we're going to do more of that next time when we work more with fire and eventually earth. But this is just a little intro, um, and lay out the land, the energetic blueprint, the soul blueprint, so you know what's coming. Okay, so let's sit now with our tree once more. Allow all of these shifts, insights, teachings to take deep, deep root into our consciousness. Know this is your most updated and upgraded self. Whew. Strong exhale, strong grounding breath. Also, one way to breathe is just really feel like your breath clearing your chakras. You can breathe, like I said, from your crown, breathe out through your mouth or your nose, but you can also imagine going and drawing it all the way to your belly and touching the base of your spine, and then going back up as you breathe in and out. Just to keep it clear, just like the circles in a tree, in the trunk of the tree, just pure energy flowing in and out. That's what we want your chakras to feel like. Okay, so now I'm going to have you slowly retrace your steps. Very nice energy. Beautiful. I'm going to have you slowly come back into the room you're in. Gonna be very gentle. We have a few more minutes. Last time you were a little rushed, but I want to show you that once you achieve this, you can even stay and hang out here longer. It's fine for you to, for example, get off the call if you want to stay here longer. But if you're ready also to come out, just take your time. I like swaying. I like everything really integrating. Swaying is similar to EMDR, where the trauma in the body, when we start using our left hemisphere, like right hemisphere, whether it's through finger movements or butterfly hugs, or what I call left cheek, right cheek squeezes in your buns so nobody sees what you're doing. It's similar to a baby, like when we're soothing a baby and rocking. There's something very soothing when we get the whole brain involved, and it hacks the short circuits from stress and trauma. So this is another way of rewiring the self. It's just taking your time, all the soothing that you're feeling, you're letting it really settle in. And you can exhale, another exhale. That's good. I'm sure you've heard of deep belly breaths, but I like to associate it also to a mental intervention and call it my soft underbelly. Whew. So you let your belly hang and you relax and you're like, I'm brave. I can let my soft Buddha underbelly just be vulnerable. My tree has my back. I can be relaxed. I'm safe and protected. I have my firewall up. So now we're gonna slowly come back in the dimension we're in what you have to do. But remember, you gotta go slow, one step at a time. There's no rush, and really ease into it. And hopefully also set a cap. We're not only easing into it and then going to the franticness of what it was before. We're maybe 75%. That could be compromised. We're going to go back to 75%, and we're going to stay 51% here as much as possible, 90% of the time. Maybe at first it'll be 50%, 40%. That's okay. Next time you check in and you get back to this place, you're going to say, okay, let's try again. Let's see if we do better. Okay, so we're coming out, but we're staying 51% here. So you're stretching a bit now. You're starting to think about your surrounding, where you're at. You're coming out of your sanctuary, thanking your tree and all your guides. Next time, or maybe when we're done with the elements, then we're going to start working with other guides. So call them in, or you might already have your other guides come in, the air guides, and later maybe fire protective guides. That's all good. So we're thanking the guides. We're stretching some more. Maybe some shoulder shrugs. Maybe a little bit of a belly dance and twirling around. And so when you're fully back, open your eyes when you're ready. Thank you for joining me today in staking out spiritual space in solidarity and in community. Please share this video and the Zoom link below with anyone who would love some support in hearing their authentic voice over all the noise and realign with clear choice. I offer me time through meditation virtual meetings every second and fourth Monday of the month from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. PST. If you would like deeper and more personalized guidance, how to heal, love, lead with soul authority, please visit me at soulauthoritycoaching.com or thesacredhealingwell.com for more information.